Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shayan Silva.
And I'm Kumarini Rajakaruna. Republican presidential hopeful Mitt Romney crowned winner in a string of Super Tuesday victories.
Tonight on our special segment, Road to the White House, we take a look at the victories achieved by the Republican candidates.
More on this later on in the news bulletin, but before that, let's take a look at the stories making headlines.
A house alleged to have belonged to the suspect connected to the double murder in Kahawatha set on fire. A group of farmers demand that the stipulated price for paddy be increased. And Iran agrees to grant access to inspect a key military site.
For the stories in detail now, Inspector General of Police N.K. Langkun states that several individuals have been questioned regarding the double murder which took place in the Kahawatha area recently. Incidentally, a tense situation arose in Kahawatha today as a result of the recent double murders in the area. When news first made inquiries regarding the incident, the IGP said that a certain group had also set fire to 4 houses, including the house belonging to a suspect who was taken into custody in connection with the murders. The 2 victims were from the same family.
One of the houses which was set on fire today is located close to the house of the 2 victims. The house belongs to UPFM member I.H. Dharmasiri, a councillor of the Godakavela Pradesh Sabha. Dharmasiri's relative is amongst the group being questioned by the police regarding the incident. 2 houses belonging to relatives of Dharmasiri were also set on fire. The houses were damaged in the fire. Meanwhile, a group that converged in the Kahawatha town today carried out a demonstration against the double murder. The police said that the situation was later contained.
The program to whitewash the historic Ruan Valley Mahasaya commenced today under the auspices of President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Now, this program began at an auspicious time. President Mahinda Rajapaksa commenced the program to whitewash the historic Ruan Valley Mahasaya today based on the advice of the chief incumbent Venerable Pallegama Hema Ratanathera and following customary religious observances. Thereafter, the head of state called on the Venerable Pallegama Hema Ratanathera for a discussion.
In other local stories, Madin Full Moon Poya Day falls today. Buddhists island-wide mark Madin Full Moon Poya Day by engaging in religious observances.
Buddhist scriptures say that a number of significant activities took place on Madin Full Moon Poya Day. It was on a day like today that the Buddha, along with a retinue of 20,000 disciples, trekked from the Veluwana Ramya to Kimbulwatpura to meet his father King Suddhodana, relatives and friends of the Sakya clan. For Sri Lankan Buddhists, Madin Full Moon Poya is important as it marks the Sripada pilgrimage season.
Speaking at the 19th session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, Switzerland today, Shavindra Fernando stated that the government has spent over $360 million on its resettlement program. He made this statement in a clustered interactive dialogue with the UN's Special Rapporteur on human rights of internally displaced persons. Let's now take a look at some of the views expressed by Shavindra Fernando.
Out of over 290,000 IDPs housed in welfare centers as at the end of May 2009, only 6,647 IDPs remain to be settled at the end of 2011. The remaining IDPs will be resettled once the demining has been completed. The demining of former conflict-affected areas was carried out at a pace comparable with the best efforts anywhere in the world. The government has spent over $360 million on its resettlement program. It is the firm resolve of the government to ensure that all those who have been dispossessed of their land are afforded the opportunity to return to the lands they occupied.
The report of the United Nations Working Group on Enforced or Involuntary Disappearances was tabled yesterday at the 19th session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, Switzerland. The report notes that in the case of Sri Lanka, at the beginning of the period under review, there were 5,653 outstanding cases of enforced or involuntary disappearances. The report reflects communications and cases examined by the working group during its 3 sessions last year.
In the case of Sri Lanka, the report of the United Nations Working Group on Enforced or Involuntary Disappearances also noted that 59 cases were transmitted to the government during the period under review under the standard procedure. The report also states that the Sri Lankan government had not furnished a response of any of the cases filed in the said report in question. The majority of the 59 cases transmitted by the working group to the government of Sri Lanka involves disappearances in 2009 in Mullaitivu. The report further notes that the working group had sent a prompt intervention letter to the government of Sri Lanka on the 23rd of August 2011 regarding alleged threats against individuals including relatives in the case of Patani Wazik, a human rights defender who had reportedly disappeared and was subsequently killed. Citing sources, the report says that more than 500 people disappeared in the Jaffna district between January and August 2007, while approximately 100 people disappeared in the Mannar district alone between 2008 and 2009. The report also notes that at the conclusion of the period under review, the number of outstanding cases had increased to 5,671.
Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's permanent representative to the United Nations in Geneva, Tamara Kunanayakam, in an interview with a web news agency, has stated that the United States is pushing for a resolution on Sri Lanka purely judging Sri Lanka's intentions and not the ground reality. She says that it is unacceptable to most nations as it would give a role to the Council that was never intended, adding that there is a general feeling that Sri Lanka is being punished for cooperating with the Council. However, she has said that a lot of work still remains to be done to convince Council members of Sri Lanka's position on this matter. In response to references made on Sri Lanka as a failed state, Ambassador Kunanayakam had noted that failed states is part of a rhetoric that is used to justify interference in the internal affairs of sovereign states. She adds that anyone with any knowledge of the ground reality in Sri Lanka will know that this description does not fit the country.
Two members from the British Parliament visited the Poonthottam Women's Protection and Rehabilitation Centre in Vavuniya today. The group which arrived at the Poonthottam Women's Protection and Rehabilitation Centre were received by Colonel Manjula Gunasinghe, who is the Rehabilitation Coordinating Officer of the Vavuniya district. A group of Tamil expatriates in Britain also accompanied the British diplomats. The objective of the visit was to inquire into the welfare of the former LTT cadres who are being rehabilitated at the centre. 82 former LTT cadres are being rehabilitated at the rehabilitation centre in Punthotham at present.
In the meantime, the Paddy Marketing Board says it is prepared to purchase 30,000 metric tons of paddy during the Maha season from the Anuradhapura district at the government stipulated price. However, farmers in the Anuradhapura district who engage in demonstrations today state that the stipulated price at which the government has been purchasing paddy from them over the past is not sufficient.
The Treasury has allocated 2,200 million rupees for the purchase of paddy under the government stipulated price during the Maha season. 1,200 million rupees has been provided to the Paddy Marketing Board, while it is expected that cooperative societies will purchase paddy with the balance 1,000 million, which they will obtain via district secretaries. Under the government stipulated prices, a kilo of samba is purchased at 30 rupees, while a kilo of nadu will be purchased at 28 rupees a kilo. According to the Paddy Marketing Board, a paddy harvest of 400,000 tons is expected from the Anuradhapura district alone during the Maha season. With the increase in the harvest this Maha season, we are expected to purchase up to 30,000 metric tons of paddy. This will cost a sum of 900 million rupees. The Paddy Marketing Board is taking steps to ensure all grants are provided. However, farmers say that private traders are purchasing paddy between 20 and 21 rupees a kilo. A group of farmers in the Anuradhapura district engaged in demonstrations in the towns of Eppavela and Thambuttegama today, claiming that they do not receive a profit from selling paddy to the government or the private sector. The demonstrators charged that the current stipulated price, which came into effect 5 years ago, is not sufficient when taking into account the cost of living in the country. They point out that they bear a cost of 29 rupees to produce a kilo of paddy. The increased fuel prices have directly affected farmers' lives. Indirectly, the prices of everything has increased. The harvest has not increased. The prices have not changed either. The prices have in fact decreased. It is the same 28 rupees that was agreed upon 5 years ago. At least 40 rupees per kilo of samba and 38 rupees per kilo of nadu must be given. Only if this happens will we be able to provide for our families.